What's up, board gamers? John back here with a little weekly Gaslands build. This time we're doing another little friend sponsor team, if you will. A little team for a friend here. This one friend, she's super big into punk rock music, all that kind of jazz. So I'm just gonna make like a punk rock team, and of course, sponsor we're gonna have to go with Slime. Now for the vehicles we have of this team here is we have a Matchbox water worker truck. We're a nice big guy bruiser on the team. And for the, let's see, what else we got? We have a lethal diesel, as you see here. And for the final member of the team, we have a Aston Martin DB4 GT High Speed Edition. I think that's kind of slick. I'm not quite sure yet exactly what we're going to do with all these. So I think I'll think about it a little bit. And then, do our little pre-build table intros. We'll have a chance to think about it. But yeah, let's just get right back.
Alright, Wargamers, for these two, to finish off the team, they both just have the same equipment, so I might as well just build them together. Also, I'm not sure which one I'm going to do which with, but for both the same equipment, we both have heavy machine guns, a bunch of rams just everywhere to go with that whole slime theme. So we're just going to get right into the build. Alright, Wargamers, we're pretty much done with the build here for this one. We put some cool spikes here, as you can see, some side rams. It has a ram in the front, but it's got this cool cow catcher here looking thing. I didn't want to mess it up. We got our heavy machine gun. So I think for this one, it's time for some prime time. Alright guys, done here on the build table. So we got this one with the lethal diesel. Not much to this one because it's already pretty good. We got our side rams here, doubles up as explosive. We got our heavy machine gun. We got these cool, I wanted to put them out facing outwards, but the car's so low that this was actually lower than the wheels, so I think it works on the side. I wanted to put a front ram on, but as you can see here, this car's got little angry eyes from the headlights. It didn't want to cover that up. So I think that's about it. Time for some prime time. Alright, on the build table here with the rig of the team. So I think what we're going to do here is I've got this 3D printed a bunch. They're somewhere on my desk. I don't know where they are. But I 3D printed a bunch of little punk rock like band members. So we're going to build like a stage here. But first things first, I think what we're going to do is we're going to trim this off. We're going to pop the water tank off here, build some kind of mount. And yeah, just get right into it. Alright, we got the rig here done. Try to hold it so you can see it. Alright, so we'll start with the cab. So cab here, since it's hauling this big thing. I use one of those 20 million waterwork trucks I've somehow collected. We've got this big hunking exhaust here, this huge engine, so I can pull this big rig. Not much else to do to this. It's pretty nice. I like the little bits here. Because this is hollow, because there was a water truck on the back. Pretty much just capped it off with some plastic card, little mount. You're not really going to see it once the trailer's attached anyway. So that's the cab. And then the trailer here for her team. You've got this big hunkin' stage made out of just like 20 million speakers, which I believe, yes, we did roll wall of amps anyway. It has rockets, but you know, rockets or whatever, they're somewhere. But I think this will easily count for a wall of amplifiers. Put some chains here holding up the stage because it just looks cool. Had a flat, put some window screen up, just kind of, you know, give it some pizzazz. Same as all these teeth here. It just looked kind of too plain. I 3D printed a little punk rock band. It was going to be Ramones, but they kind of just looked like normal people. I found this 3D print file of a bunch of miniatures on Thingiverse for the Misfits. So I printed out, as you can see, shrank them down, printed it out. We got our dudes here. I don't know any of the band's names. There was a third guy. 1, 2, 3. I mean, there was a fourth guy here, but I was trying to clean him off, like clean the supports. He just shattered, which I think made it in the video. So it's fine. Little 3-piece ensemble works very well. So that's about it. So let's roll into some prime time. Alright, Wargamers, here with a little team info before we get into the car's nitty gritty. As I said before, this is for my friend V. She's big into punk rock. It's kind of like her whole thing. Team name, we're going with Team MOSHPIT. The whole team is a slime sponsor. And we kind of went with a lethal diesel. I love the little angry eye headlights it has. This other car is just cool looking. Kind of made a rig out of bits. Heavily inspired off Mad Max. Got the cool band. So in case you're wondering, the band, I believe I found a 3D print file for the Misfits, and that's what the band members are supposed to be. But let's get into the cars right here. Let's get into some little nitty gritty stats. Alright, we're here at the turntable, so let's get into some stats. For this one, the name-wise we're going with this Counterculture. The chassis type is another performance car. The sponsor is Slime, as we said. As far as weapons and equipment go, we have 2 sets of rams, 2 sets of exploding rams, and a heavy machine gun, as well as a set of armor plating. The perks class we have is Tuning and Reckless, and the perks themselves are Berserker, Purring, and she coming in at 41 cans. Alright, we're on the turntable, so let's get into some stats here. For the name for this one, we're going with Anti-Establishment. The chassis type is a performance car. The sponsor we wrote up were Slime, of course. The weapons and equipment we have is 2 sets of rams, 2 sets of exploding rams, a heavy machine gun, and a set of extra armor, armor plating if you will. The perk classes are Tuning and Reckless, and the perks we wrote up themselves are Rear Drive and Hog Wild. And she's coming in at 40 cans. Alright, we're on the turntable here, so let's get into the stats. Name-wise for this one, we're going with The Gig. The chassis type is a war rig, and as I said, it's sponsored by Slime. As far as weapons and equipment go, we have a wall of amplifiers, 3 sets of rams, and a set of rocket launchers. And the perk class is Tuning and Reckless. And as far as the perks themselves, we have In for a Penny, Momentum, Drive Angry, and Bigger Than You. And she all comes in at 71 cans for this rig. Oh, what you guys are doing in my stack fridge out here in the backyard. But since you're out here, let me straighten you up a little bit. Since you're out here, let me ask you a couple questions. You like buying custom cars and whatnot? Do you like promoting small YouTube channels as myself? I don't know, maybe you just like buying some cool merch? Or perhaps even, do you enjoy some smooth jazz? Either way, I opened up an Etsy shop, just selling off all the builds to help promote the channel, because I'm never going to use them in the games anyway. So I'm going to throw the link down in the description of the videos now. I got cool cars. Anything you see on the channel, buy it if you want. I'm thinking about adding some stickers and custom dice maybe later on. I got a message system set up, so if you want some commissions, like commission terrain or other, you can hit me up there too. So I think that's it for my short little ad shelling out my thing. So I'm going to grab my cheesy sticks and this Bex, and I'm out of here. See you later.